Basically, this is my, well, I don't know what you call it, Chaos Swarm, Dragon Chaos Swarm, whatever the hell you want to call it anyway.
Thing.
So, we're going to go through the monster cards first, and we'll just talk them through it. So, basically start off as your obligatory JD, Judgment Dragon. Then you got your Chaos Sorcerer, your BLS, so that basically rounds up the normal like Chaos monsters, but then this is where it has the twist with the dragons. So you have the Light Pulsar Dragon times 2. Sometimes people like to run 3. Simply, I don't have 3. I'm gonna be honest, but so far the consistency with the 2 has been spot on. Also, the Dark Flare.
So we'll try and zoom in on them. just help.
Basically, with the Dark Flare as well, they do come in handy. But I mostly use these as well for the some of the Zexy monsters I have, rank 5s, but we'll get on that later. Then have the one Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon. Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, my mistake.
We don't have a Red Eyes 2 tribute for the other one. That'll be weird.
That'll be kind of strange. But I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit gutted to the fact that it's gone down to 1, because let's be honest, if we had 3 of these in here, they'd sort of be broken. So I guess it has to happen, sometime.
Okay, let's give it some space so you can work around it.
So, next we have the Eclipse Waven. Most of the time I actually remove, when that gets sent to the graveyard, I remove my Darkness Metal or a JD. So that helps a lot. It also feeds the Chaos Engine as well.
That's right.
Next for my next engine is the Tour Guide engine. It just helps thins the deck out and gets rank 3s, and I run Dark Mimic. I was thinking about putting in a Night Assailant, Dark Assailant, the flip effect one where it destroys a monster, but to be honest this helps with the consistency of the deck because you can draw a card. So, also as well it's a dark monster as well. Next we move on to the main Light Sworn engine. I'm very happy actually that Lumina has gone back up to 3. It just makes the deck a little bit quicker, and you can just discard a bunch of stuff just to feed the Chaos Engine as well. Plus the fact you can make a lot of rank 3s with it.
Yeah, I'm happy to say that I did actually find a spare rare one in my trade folder for him. So,
I was very grateful for that.
That's fine.
A lot of people run 2 Lilas. To be honest, again, don't have a second one, but it's been one of those cards where I haven't really needed to have it a lot. Most of the time I try and get round back rows by other means, but it does come in handy when, for instance, you think your opponent's got something, you feel a little bit threatened by it, so you just want to get rid of it. And plus the fact it mills 3 cards, so again it helps with the Light Sworn engine as well.
Very true.
Next we run the 2 Raikos. To be honest, I haven't really drawn it an awful lot when some of the games I've got, but when it does, it sort of lures your opponents in a full sense of security because they think that, well, he's playing Light Sworn, so obviously if he plays his card face down, it's going to be a Raiko. To be honest though, most of the time it's not a Raiko, it's just something else entirely, but it's just having that bluff to sort of just again scare your opponent. But when you do have the Raiko and they don't attack, then you just have a +1 on the field because you just flip it anyway, mill 2, blow up a card, jobs are good.
So good.
Next you have a Garroth. To be honest, he's more or less just a little bit of a beat stick, an extra name for the Light Sworn as well, and also he's a light warrior. I mean, I do run Excalibur in my deck, so he just helps with that.
And you get your Yen phase plus draw if possible. Yeah.
If possible, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Erin, she's she mostly, if she runs into things like Spirit Reapers, Marshmallons, Gullen, I can never say that.
Galandua.
That's the one.
That's alright.
And other just any other cards. I mean, I don't think the flip effect works, does it? With if this card attacks.
I think it is before. So I think you still get the flip, but it does send it. So
I'm not completely sure. I'll have to double check the rules on that. But again, Light Warrior runs well with the Light Sworn deck and just gets rid of uncertain cards that are face down as well. Next, we run a Wolf. Basically, with the Wolf, again, self-explanatory. If it gets milled by any card from the deck, then you can just bang, just whoosh, it's there. It's an instant beat stick, 21 attack. Haven't used it an awful lot, so most of the time I use it for targets such as Solar Recharge, or just any other like discarding cost with Light Pulsar as well. To be honest, a lot of people run 2, but I just like to really run the 1. I just never, whenever I've run like 2 or 3, I've just never had that consistency of like literally being summoned. So again, I've just run the 1. Next we have the Jain Lightsworn Paladin. Again, I always feel that Jain is sort of a staple when it comes to like with Lightsworns anyway, because it's a beach stick for 1, and again it's got the milling effect. Again, it's a warrior light, so it's always a good target for Excalibur as well to be Xyz summoned. So again, another decent Lightsworn card. Now this one here is an interesting one. Some people don't even run this card. I don't know why. It actually stops a lot of targeting effects on your Lightsworns, and I think people really underestimate that about the targeting, or sometimes people even overlook it. Also as well, it's a decent target for Lumina as well, decent defense, and you can Xyz for cards such as Leviathan or Zenmaines. I don't have a Leviair, I don't run one, and I don't have one. So if, with a lot of removal play from this deck, I would run one, but I just don't have one. But again, Orcus is a
well, in a bit, I also uploaded James's trade folder onto this channel. So if you do have some trade ones, we can sort some stuff out, so that's cool as well.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Next, we go from like the more sort of like I say these cards are something I wouldn't really take out for this deck. They're sort of my personal tech choices, and for me, in a way, staples for me. Gotta have a Gauze. This card has basically saved my bacon a bunch of times. People either think if I'm holding cards in my hand and they see that I'm confident, they either think it's going to be a Gauze or it's going to be an Honest. Most of the time it's been Gauze though, and it's just nice to have that extra field presence on there, and it just denies an extra attack from my opponent. Also gives me a token as well, so that's what I primarily use it for. I haven't really used its secondary effect, but overall it's a good card, and also it's a dark target for my Chaos Engine. Second card, Honest. Again, can't really say much, much more about Honest. It's Honest. Let's face it. I run 1 Necro Gardener. I was considering taking him out completely just to have more consistency with the deck, but I found that I was basically just getting beaten down left, right and centre, and it didn't stall enough. So I decided to put the 1 in. Might put a second one in, I'm not sure yet. I'm just thinking about the consistency of the deck. I know it's a lot of milling and drawing, but so far I haven't really decked out. I've played up against some decent decks such as Evil Sworn, Counter Fairies, Black Wings, and Dark World. That's the one. But again, I haven't really used him. I've only just put him in. I just felt like I should put one in anyway. So yeah, it's Necro Gardener. And the last card, again, another tech choice, Phantom of Chaos. I always use Phantom of Chaos in any deck, to be honest. I remember using him in my old Hopeless Dragon build. Just to use the effect of cards like Dark Arm, Red Eyes Darkness. He's just handy. He's something to get out of the pinch. Okay, sure, he's going to be the same level, and sure, he's going to have, he's not going to be able to damage your opponent, but the effects that he'll be able to get from cards in the graveyard, in some ways, I feel like this card is just a key component. Also, it's a level 4, so a lot of rank 4 Xyzs, and also as well, it's a dark, so it's a target. Next up, we're going to go for Magics. So we'll go through the staples first. So we've got Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm. I think we've got a Missile Space Typhoon as well. So they're basically the type of cards you get in any deck, really. So it's just self-explanatory. Charge Light Brigade, for obvious reasons. Again, just speeds up the deck and gives you a +1 in hand as well. Next we run 3 Solar Recharge. Again, greatly speeds up the deck. However, I've just had the misfortune today of basically milling 2 of them, so it's slowed down the deck a little bit. It didn't hurt me completely, but it does help, gains advantages, ditches cards like Lumina. So if I draw into another Lumina, I can just special summon. Normal summon the first Lumina, then special summon another Lumina, then special summon Orcus or something like that. So really, cards like this in this deck it's all about consistency, milling, and draw power. One of the tech choices I've got in this deck, Law of Darkness. I haven't used it tremendously, but when I have, it's actually helped in a pinch, I guess. A lot of this, believe it or not, with this deck is a lot of removal. There's lots of cards that are being removed in this deck. Law of Darkness can help with that. I'm actually thinking about putting a DDR. I've said this in the past about decks like these, where I think I should put a Different Dimension Reincarnation. That's what it is. Into the deck. It just seems to be the right decision. So in the future, I'm thinking about doing that anyway. But again, Law, it just gives me +2. Plus, if I get Dark Monster, I can just remove it. So it's got its balance, in my opinion. It's a balanced card. But if I want things in the graveyard, I can then, if I don't get any Dark Monsters, I might purposely just play it anyway, knowing I probably might not even draw any Darks, and just discard my entire hand to set up plays for Light Pulsar Dragons and with Eclipse Wyvern, so I can just remove stuff and with Eclipse Wyvern's effect and have stuff in the grave lined up in the graveyard with my Light Pulsar. Card Destruction, again self-explanatory, just mill, draw, basically it, and 2 Monster Incarnations. This card has actually helped me a tremendous amount just by recycling cards and getting cards back and just placing cards in the graveyard. Most people use Monster Incarnation just to basically get cards out of the graveyard. I actually use this to put cards into the graveyard to set up for plays. I'll probably do that more than actually getting cards back. But again, it's pretty decent card. And then with traps, it's 3 skill successors. The gentleman that's recording me now, Hyrule Card Games 19, he actually suggested, instead of having any other traps, run skill successor, because one, I don't rely on back row as much anyway with this deck. It's more about aggression and just punishing the opponent with just attacks and effects, instead of being all defensive. If I want to be defensive, I'll use Zen mains with Lumina and things like that. But with this, it just makes it so, one, my opponent will waste resources trying to get rid of my back row, which will probably be skill successor. Plus, I can chain skill successor off anyway if they try and destroy it. And secondly, because this deck mills so much, I can have these sent to the graveyard. Next turn, if I want to go over a big monster that my opponent has on the field, I can just remove from play, let's say 3 or 2 or even 1, and just run over big powerhouses. So that's my trap choice, and it was a brilliant suggestion by Hyrule Card Games, so cheers for that, mate. Next we got my extra deck. So we start off with 3 Leviathans, again with Luminas, Tour Guides, you know how it is. Then we have 2 Zen mains. A lot of people only run the 1. It's the same with the Leviathan, I like run 1 of each. But I've gone into rank 3s very often, and I always feel that Zen mains and Leviathan complement each other. Leviathan being more about offensive, whereas Zen mains is more my drawback card, just be defensive, or maybe even just trying to blow up a bigger monster than it by just attacking it. I run a Roach. A lot of people don't even bother with Roaches anymore. But in my opinion, it's rank 4. It can get over, special summon cards like Christian. Any card that can basically special summon itself, basically, as long as it's level 5 or higher. And also, it's a dark, so it's something that feeds my Chaos Engine. Next, we have Heroic Champion Excalibur. Basically, I've actually got 2 OTKs in the past with him with this deck. Well, not exactly this build, but the similar deck. And I run a lot of, Light Warriors in my Light Swarm build, in my Chaos Dragon build. And you can just do so many things with this, especially with Honest. It's just causes tremendous damage, especially if you just detach the 2 materials, 4,000 damage, have an Honest on top. So it's not, Honest is not just great for BLS or any other card, it's especially good for this. But, haven't summoned him that often just in certain situations. Utopia, what more can you say about Utopia? It's just one of those cards that you need. Utopia is like one of those staple cards for the extra deck, in my opinion. You just need it. I do run a Utopia Ray. Don't get me wrong, I don't really use him that often, but you just don't know. You never know. I've used him. Actually, I used him once And that was against Viusworn, and I was just being, my opponent was just punishing me. I just couldn't get a card out properly. And I just pulled a move off to get Utopia out, and then I summoned this and used this with Honest, and just OTK'd my opponent, which was pretty cool. I killed him in the turn basically. I wouldn't say OTK, but then we have the Gemini Pearl again, rank 4. It may be an Earth, but it can get over stuff like Utopia and cards like that because it's got 2600 attack, decent defense, so there's not more you can say. These two, never really used these much. I did use this in a couple of matches, and I've used that when I've needed to, just to have field protection, I guess. But I use these in conjunction with my Dark Flares. Again, I haven't really used them all that much, but when I have done, they've actually been pretty decent. I like this. This is more of the type of effect where you just want to just blow stuff up. You just want to get rid of it, a certain card on the field. Target something. Whereas this one, it just more or less, it's just something that you're just expecting your opponent to do, and also something you get to do yourself, such as if you attack that turn, or it's been attacked, you can target, blow up a card on your opponent's side of the field. So again, these type of cards complement each other. Also, light and dark, Chaos Energy. I think that's pretty cool for this deck. And we have one Photon Strike Bouncer. Light, 27 attack, decent effect. Use this with Chaos Sorcerer and Light Pulsar Dragon. I actually do run Synchros, even though I don't really have any tuners in my deck. I haven't constructed my side deck properly yet, but when I do, it's going to have Plague Spreader in there. Just to add a bit of synchronicity to the deck, just to, I don't want to say synchronicity, that's no one. So there are only 3 Synchros I've got in here. Catasta, for again, obvious reasons. Stardust Dragon, just to have that extra field protection instead of being aggressive all the time. Again, just to say, well, you're not going to take over. You're not going to take over my side of the field. You're not going to overrun me too many monsters or blow up my cards. So Stardust is good for that. Just have that dominance on the field, field control, and Gaia. Because you're in something like Stardust or a 25 beta, you can just take out a Gaia. So basically, yeah, that's my deck. So yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's alright. No, it's good. Right. So yeah, after a while, I uploaded James's trade photo in a separate video, and yeah, PM us with that. At one point, if you want us to do anything like this, I can go over some. We can try to go over some basic combos or anything like that. So yeah, so see you guys later.